watching the EdReach Network.
And welcome to EduNationCast.
That was a surprise for Sil.
You like that intro?
Yeah.
We are part of the EdReach Network, giving educators a voice, a big voice. This is episode number 24 for March 26, 2012. And of course, this is the show where we demonstrate and highlight the best education videos, tools, and platforms for teachers all over the nation and the world. And on our show today,
James Sanders.
Adam Bello.
Diane Main.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm Jim Sill.
You're so good at that. And that guy is...
oh man, I'm so sorry. We are all relaxed and having a good time. And I'm Dan Rizak. And we must just be having spring fever or something. You know, there must be love in the air. I don't know. You know, it feels good.
It does.
Anytime you start a show off crying, you know it's going to be a good one.
Oh God.
Oh yeah. I love it. I love spring. Spring is a good time. Yeah, everything seems to happen in spring.
Are you on
For a
spring
good
break?
time, call spring.
Anyone on spring break?
No.
Just me?
Next week for us over here.
Whoa, what was that?
Sorry,
Somebody's got to turn off their tricorder.
Yeah, we're next week. You're this week, Dan?
Yeah, I'm this week. I guess. Well, I think
I'm the week after.
I'm in a fairly Jewish environment, and I'm guessing they aren't trying to align to the Christian calendar here. Am I right?
Passover's next week, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, Passover's next week.
No clue.
No, am I wrong?
Yeah, Passover is next week.
When is Easter?
Easter is the 9th.
It's the 8th. It's the 8th.
Far away.
Oh, the 8th, yes. The 8th.
I don't know.
And Passover starts on the eve of the 6th. How do I know that?
Ask Jim Sill, because Jim spends a fair amount of time in Israel.
I'll be there this Saturday, as a matter of fact.
The Holy Land.
You just hop into Israel like, like you're just...
I love that.
Oh, you get on a plane 12 hours later, there you are.
Knock yourself out, wake up, hey, I'm in Israel. That's good, good. I haven't been to New York, so I'm just skipping New York and going right over to Israel, which is loving it.
Awesome. Well, you can forget my spring break theory, I guess. I don't know. They just decided to make me early. But I'm enjoying it. I'm going to go to Wisconsin for a couple days. It's going to be good.
Woohoo!
Go to a water park.
Is that a thing, going to Wisconsin for spring break?
You know, if you got a kid or, two or whatever, we have a kid. The Wisconsin Dells are like a stone's throw away, so you can go up there. Here's a little plug for Wisconsin Dells. And they have all these water parks, and it's great, and, kids have fun while parents just sit in the corner and
reading books.
Watch. Right.
I haven't been to a water park in forever. I think that could be a good time for sure. Isn't that what it is? The Wisconsin Dells is a water park?
Yeah, it's like it is a lake. It is around a lake. So in the summer you can actually go on the lake, but in the winter you can go to the water parks. So a little bit of everything. I actually went bungee jumping. Oh, stop it! I'll turn.
I keep thinking that's my tweet deck, but it's not. No, it's yours.
Well, normally in the start of the show, what I try to do is get the links and all that, and I just when I'm beginning the show, I don't have time to do that, so I'll just close it and go back and do that later. Sound good?
This tiny URL works.
Yeah, it's no. I haven't done it yet. So you're gonna.
I'll give you the.
Oh darn! I tweeted it already.
Great.
All right, somebody changed that little tiny URL,
and then I retweeted that. So.
It will be as soon as we make.
I changed it by accident, sort of.
Okay, moving on. What are we talking about today?
Exactly.
It's a podcast by committee. Let's do it.
I love it. Well, this is, I guess, not the spring break episode, but it is mine. But we're going to start with our videos of the week. And why don't we start with Diane? And I will.
Oh, okay.
Of course.
You're going to share?
I will. Even though you see the up there, it doesn't work. So I will be.
Okay. All right, so last week I shared a really fun video about the element oxygen. It was adorable. Well, this other video crossed my path. I'm trying to remember. It was someone sending it to someone else, and I totally hijacked it. I saw it on Twitter, and it's actually a video of the They Might Be Giants element song. Are you familiar with the song?
Yep.
I had heard of it, but I hadn't really listened to the whole thing all the way through, and the video is very cool, so thought I'd share it.
All right.
Get it, Reezy.
Here we go.
Iron is a metal, you see it every day. Oxygen eventually will make it rust away. Carbon in its ordinary form is coal. Crush it together and diamonds are born. Come on and meet the elements. May I introduce you to our friends, the elements, like a box of paints that are mixed to make every shade. They either combine to make a chemical compound or stand alone as they are. Neon's a gas that lights up the sign for a piece of place. The coins that you pay with are copper, nickel, and zinc.
How much you going to show, Dan?
Silicon.
I can just keep going. I love this
make
song.
Concrete bricks and glass. Now add some gold and silver for some piece of place class.
Come on. No, my kid plays this song. This is her one of her favorite albums. I know every song on this album. It's awesome.
I think I need to get that album, but it's a lot of fun, and I actually sent it, as I was putting it in the show notes, I also sent it to the 5th grade teachers at my school because they're about to start a thing on elements. They're going to do a project with me in the lab where they make sites about the different elements. So thought it would be a fun lead-in. I may show it in class to get the kids jazzed up. But I just love stuff like that.
You know, you bring that up. My kid and I, we watched Jurassic Park the other day, and there's a really good song on here that is called I'm a Paleontologist. Mm-hmm. And this kid was singing all about being a paleontologist, and this morning she said she wanted to be one.
That's awesome.
It's because of this
Now,
album.
if I were a child, isn't your daughter like 7 or 8? If I were a child that age and I saw Jurassic Park, the last thing I would ever want to do is be even near dinosaur remains, because as a grown person, that movie kind of made me wet the furniture. So you think I'm going to do that? I'm not letting the kids see that.
There were a couple of story parts, yes.
I just think, ever since Friends went off the air, nobody wants to be a paleontologist anymore.
Yeah, Ross made it cool. Come on.
Yeah, he was the only real cool paleontologist out there.
I don't want to spoil it, but don't people get eaten in Jurassic Park? Like, full-on...
It's a lawyer. Come on.
What? Yeah, he's the worst one, and there's not even any blood. So
it's like Justice Scoff, or no?
I will tell you, my 3.5-year-old went to the Museum of Natural History the other day and came home and was very depressed that the dinosaurs were not alive. He thought he was going to the zoo. He's like, where? I saw bones. They weren't there.
Did you tell him to be patient?
Well, that's what I said. I said one day we'll see them.
Yeah, for sure.
I would have been depressed too. I mean, have you seen the Walking with Dinosaurs?
Yes.
I just saw the Simpsons take on that last night. That was funny.
That was funny. I saw that too.
Okay. It was. You had to see it.
I'm going to pick back your video here when you're ready.
Do
it. It's okay.
Yeah, please do.
All right. Well, since you're going with the elements and we're talking about science and the thing about paleontologists, I'm going to go back to my friends Melody Sheep, who are so good at making science videos. And they have a new one, and wouldn't you know, it's about dinosaurs, because I discovered that this morning when I was going over this with Rose and trying to find some cool stuff about dinosaurs related to Jurassic Park. So this is their new dinosaur video. And can I stay in the bottom corner there, or do you want me to delete myself?
I'd rather you delete yourself.
It depends. Could we get a dinosaur to eat your head?
Yeah, can we get...
Goodbye.
How interactive would it be?
I was being sarcastic.
How does that even happen?
No, it's all right.
It was hurtful. It was hurtful, James.
Here's
that your heart had softened, but no.
Dinosaurs, Symphony of Science. Here we go. And
Hi, do you start to get close to animals that lived hundreds of millions of years ago. Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs were just giant lizards, but a truly unique kind of reptile.
Dinosaurs roamed for more than 150 million years. Dinosaurs roamed in amazing shapes and sizes. Very few left evidence of their existence, and those bones never cease to fascinate us.
The more we find, the more complete our understanding, utterly awe-inspiring the world of the dinosaurs.
All right, there's a very famous voice in this video, and you have to try to discover. I want you to know.
Stephen Hawking?
J.K. Rowling.
No, but he's not a scientist. But he is very, very famous.
Dr. Dre.
He's just doing the voiceover.
Waiting to be found. Waiting to be found.
The more we find, the more
That's
complete
not it
our
either.
understanding, utterly awe-inspiring the world of the dinosaurs.
Here, she is kind of old.
Yeah, right?
Need a car!
Let's do that.
Dinosaurs are largest feature.
Oh, I think
Dinosaurs
that
roamed
voice right
in
there.
amazing shapes and sizes. Very few left evidence of their existence.
All right.
Stephen Hawking.
But do you know who that? Did you get that voice? I'm good with voices. It was Michael.
Caine.
Michael
A
Douglas.
lot of people
Love
know
me
that.
some Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas.
Michael
Really?
Caine.
He had a British accent, it sounded like.
No,
It's called auto-tune.
He was faking
yeah, on the
it.
auto-tune, he definitely sounded different, but I can tell Greed is good guy. I can tell when I hear that voice.
It would have been funnier if it was Michael Caine.
With the broken voice.
With the
Did
broken,
you do the broken Did you
Not
guys-
a lot of
weird,
people know that.
Yeah.
No?
That's pretty good.
Pretty good Michael Caine.
Trip? Yeah, the trip. Of course.
I've seen Cars 2 like 800 times.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking about
Not a lot
our
of
favorite
people.
videos of the week.
We are. This is the video. This is videos of the week. I'm sharing dinosaurs from Melody Sheep.
I like how that skeleton's about to grab your head. That's pretty cool.
Yes.
Fight back, Dan. Fight back.
And if if you want to get your kid interested in science, and you could just have this on a loop playing all day long, and they will learn about the elements, and they'll learn about dinosaurs, and they'll learn about all this cool stuff from Richard Dawkins and everything. And I have big praise for Symphony of Science. But now we're going to move on to Plastic Bag. Jim, set this up.
A quick interjection.
Yes.
Can auto-tune be overdone? No? Yes? No?
Not yet.
I think it can.
What? Not yet? Are you kidding me? It was overdone like a year ago.
No,
Yeah,
I think we're still in it. I'm still in it.
Yeah.
I'm still in the
Andre
auto-tune.
Dobbins is still my...
Ever since, what's his name? Antoine.
And, yeah, Antoine Dobbins, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Antoine,
it.
Yeah.
That's hysterical.
Somebody just told me about Songify. Where's that been all my life?
Actually, that's what my husband uses. He'll read my son's poems or Alice Cooper lyrics, and he has a Scottish accent, and he does it in Songify. It is freaking hilarious. I'm not kidding.
Well, I think that whole video went from being like kind of boring to being really exciting with all
Or at least loud.
Yeah, Dan, go ahead and start it somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
You know, if you can scooch back, like there's a beach scene, right? There's like a little beach scene.
Yeah.
To the
Beach
left,
or
I think.
beach?
So here's the deal. I'll kind of bring this up. This actually comes from a playlist I created a while back, but I'm getting ready to do a YouTube workshop in the UK for the Google Teacher Academy, and part of a theme that we're trying to put together is just like using these Google tools to change the world that we live in. And so as I was putting together a playlist of social change videos, I came across came across. Is that can you say it like that? Came across? Yeah. Okay.
Rediscovered?
Rediscovered.
Thank you. Rediscovered this video,
Big words,
which I think is really great.
syllables.
I know. So Dan, I don't know, just hit it anywhere. But I'll see if you can recognize. Speaking of famous voices, but don't read the show notes. Who this person is. So
I already saw it. I can't guess.
I haven't read the show notes, so I'm going for it.
Me neither.
I've watched this video
Liar.
many times, so I'm not going to say anything.
All right, Diane and Adam.
I won't
No,
guess.
Adam and I.
But yeah.
Just saying hi to Dennis Grace. Watch.
probably start a little later.
Jim Sill, that was the voice.
I think we should maybe jump ahead. Maybe I was a little too...
Be patient.
Sorry.
I'm
Start
so
talking.
sad about that. Ooh, whales have found it. I recognize that.
Yeah, maybe move it a little
Billy.
forward. Maybe a little forward.
Ooh, it would be my squishy, and I will call it Squishy.
Love that movie.
Alright.
I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, there you go. Just pick another spot.
And I went searching for the vortex.
Oh.
Fish you don't swim in. No.
Pieces of me until they realized I was useless to them. I wonder where those little pieces are now.
Not Gollum.
No, it's the documentary dude. Right? Am I right? I am right. I know I'm right.
If your documentary is about Nazis,
Yeah.
Big
No.
clue.
What? Oh, Han. What is his name? The guy from Tarantino's thing.
yeah.
Covered an area the size of a small continent. We were free and happy. I loved going in circles, and circles, and circles.
I hope this guy's not watching our show because his voice kind of creeps me out, and I'm.
Well,
Saying
I
that
tell you,
out
Dad, you could probably stop it. This is an amazing film about the evolution of a plastic bag, and it's Werner Herzog. Do you remember him?
Werner Herzog.
Yeah.
Werner Herzog. He was the guy from the Tarantino film, the recent Tarantino film, which man, that guy came out of nowhere. Right?
Whoa, hey,
No.
what?
That's
No.
not the same dude.
Not Chris
This
Rolls.
would have been funnier. if it
Cave
was
of Forgotten Dreams. And you just did Cave of Forgotten Dreams, which is another documentary about that cave in...
Where the dreams go to get forgotten.
And he did the one with the bear. Didn't he do the one with the bear?
Grizzly Man.
Grizzly Man.
What?
Yes, see, I was right.
What are you talking about? I've never heard of this guy. Oh, am I talking about the wrong guy?
Yes.
Yeah. I love this guy.
What?
Werner Herzog is somebody completely different. Oh, I had the whole time I had this
Werner?
other guy.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
like, wait a minute.
thought it was
I know that guy. And that's not
Forget
him.
Werner?
Yeah.
I'm commenting out on Werner Herzog. Forget Werner?
Wait.
Werner?
We're hearing.
He's a German film director. Werner Herzog is another guy. It's not the guy I was originally thinking
Jeremy
of.
Irons.
No.
I think-
Dennis says it's Jeremy Irons, but Jeremy
It's not
Irons
Jeremy
talks
Irons.
to
It's Werner Herzog. And it's in, he's in,
Werner Herzog,
no
it
offense
is.
to people with accents.
yeah,
I live
he's
with one.
Yeah, it's definitely Werner Herzog, but I guess I got his film wrong.
It is Jeremy Irons.
What are you talking about?
No, it is not Jeremy Irons.
The description on the YouTube video.
It's wrong. That's not Jeremy
It's
Irons.
just wrong. It's
He
just
right.
went
wrong.
around
It's
in
totally right.
circles.
I'm with
It definitely
Dennis.
doesn't-
Dennis,
it
I'm
doesn't-
with you on this one.
It doesn't sound like Jeremy
No,
Irons.
Jeremy
though.
Irons.
It definitely
Okay,
doesn't
Dennis
sound like
says
him.
no,
Okay.
Jeremy Irons is in a different video.
That is not
Dennis
Jeremy
is like
Irons.
on the
show. That is
If you go to if you go to the video show notes, it says it's voiced
It's
by
just some random European person.
It's Werner Herzog.
Werner Herzog. Don't you know?
All right. So my video is a little bit
I was
different.
going to tell you what this reminded me of.
So it's a little bit different. First of all, I'm glad I didn't share my original plan, which was this adoption video for animals. If
Oh, I
you
watched that.
haven't
That was a
seen
little sad.
it- If you haven't seen it, blind dog living in trash gets rescued. It's amazing. Adopt your pets. But the video that I am featuring is talking about creativity and some of the other 80% of creativity and kind of what that's entailed. Did I send you the right link?
No, you did. I grabbed it.
Looking like
Okay.
something.
It's good. I think it's important to talk about what goes behind creativity. I mean, I consider myself somewhat creative, and there's a lot of downtime when creating stuff, and that's for sure. So this video does a good job of capturing that. Hit it.
All right. I'm just going to play it in its current position.
Every creative journey begins with a problem. It starts with a feeling of frustration, the dull ache of not being able to find the answer. We have worked hard, but we've hit the wall. We have no idea what to do next. When we tell stories about creativity, we tend to leave out this phase. We neglect to mention those days when we wanted to quit, when we believed that our problem was impossible. Instead, we skip straight to the breakthrough and tell the happy ending first. The danger of this scenario is that the act of feeling frustrated is an essential part of the creative process. Before we can find the answer, before we can even know the question, we must be immersed in disappointment, convinced that a solution is beyond our reach. We need to have wrestled with the problem and lost, because it's only after we stop searching that the answer might arrive. When it does arrive, the solution doesn't come in drips and drabs. The puzzle isn't solved one piece at a time. Rather, the answer shocks us with its completeness. All of a sudden, the problem that seems so daunting becomes incredibly obvious. We curse ourselves for not seeing it sooner. This is the cliched moment of insight, which we know so well from stories of Archimedes in the bathtub and Isaac Newton under the apple tree. It's the mental process described by Samuel Coleridge and Einstein, Picasso, Mozart, and Bob Dylan. When people think about creative breakthroughs, they tend to imagine incandescent flashes. Scientists use such tales to define the insight experience. The first stage is the impasse. Before there can be a breakthrough, there has to be a block. The other essential feature of a moment of insight is the feeling of certainty. After Archimedes had his eureka moment.
All right, I'm going to pause it there if that's okay.
That's awesome.
Okay.
That was really good.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we show our students these inspiring stuff all the time and kind of show them that, there's a lot of stuff behind that. I was talking to Minute Physics the other night on the phone, and Henry said that it takes about 24 hours to write the script and do the research for a video, and then it's about another 6 to 8 hours per minute of video. So
that's crazy.
Hey, did you or Adam share that other video, the one that was obvious to you, amazing to others?
Yeah, that was
Adam
on the show,
did.
right? Yeah.
I don't remember.
This one seems very similar, and the whole idea. I love this theme of kind of teaching people about creativity, and that it's something that is a combination of kismet and happenstance, but hard work at the same time. And it reminded me a lot of that video. They go hand in hand. I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, I didn't mean to wreck our party there with a little bit more of a different tune of a video.
No, I love this. This is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's funny how creativity is
Whoa,
such
big
a...
downer. I like his smiling face, though.
Yeah, creativity is so hard to find. You know what I mean? It's you have to keep looking for it. And I think it's really. I mean, you can watch these videos and all that, but it's so, I don't know, intangible. It's weird. Then all of a sudden, bang! There it is.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. That was great. Matt, one more. Adam, what do you have this?
What do I got for you? So I watched a TED Talk. Actually, I watched most of the TED conference that was given in Bozeman, Montana, last Friday. And one of the people I'm interested in, I'm doing something with work, is named Paul Anderson. And James, you might know Paul. It's Bozeman Biology. So Bozeman Science. He's like the actual teacher version of Khan, where he's a real teacher. He actually won Teacher of the Year for Montana. And at the 54-minute mark, Dan, I think, is where I told you to go. It's his talk, and what he's talking about, I'll just preface it quickly because we're not going to watch much of it, but what he's talking about in his 10 minutes is about how he uses video in the classroom, but more importantly, how he engages his students by treating his class like it's a video game. And it kind of talks about flipped classroom, but minimalizing the video aspect of it and really maximizing kind of the kid engagement aspect, which is something that a lot of people take to task, which I liked.
All right, let me go ahead and start.
Yeah, we watch a minute or two. I mean, he's just very engaging.
I'll try to jump up. I don't see a...
All right, yeah, if it doesn't work, that's fine. It's definitely something worthwhile. No, this is like the TED commercial. This isn't it.
Done for passion.
So loud.
It's loud.
Yeah, that's actually the TED commercial. That's not it.
Yeah. Make it stop.
It doesn't let you skip.
All right, don't worry about it. Let's just put the.
You can't just relax and let other
I thought I had it over here, but I
Hey,
guess
I
not.
heard Sug's voice. No?
to take
Verna, he's everywhere.
something yourself.
Now I would hear Zavona everywhere.
I'm starting to think that this is the actual.
That's no, that's like the TED coming attractions video. Don't worry about it. I basically summed up what he talked about, but I would definitely go back and look at it. You can find it on that site. It happened so recently that they didn't cut them up into individual videos yet.
Okay.
So I'm sure Ted will do that in the next couple of days and put it up there. But first of all, he's a fascinating teacher, and I think if you want to take a look at some of the stuff he's been doing, like just to give you an example, let's contrast him to Khan for a second. I'm finding the video very quickly. I'll show you 30 seconds of one of his videos, and anyone that's seen a Khan video can kind of contrast the two. And I really do enjoy his videos much more. So I'm putting it over here in the notes. You can watch just like the first 30 seconds or so of that. And he actually incorporates YouTube in his videos, which I think is pretty cool. Contrast, I like that.
Contrast. Yeah.
Contrast.
That's a good headline. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just here for the random once in a while bright spark.
All right, so remember to check out Paul Anderson, My Class is a Game, on TEDx Bozeman when they let his video.
Yeah, as soon as they give it out.
Be allowed. So you actually watched it live.
I watched it live, and I watched it again this morning, but I guess the site, maybe they're working on the videos or cutting them up or something.
Of
Who
course.
knows?
We're taking them apart, and you probably won't see it for another 6 months. Why don't you just go right into your demo dance share, since you're...
Sure. I forgot what I'm sharing. Oh, now I know. So, yeah, I'm showing... Let me take over the screen over here real quick. And you guys can actually join me at one point in the... Well, I guess that wouldn't be too much fun. So I'm going to be sharing a tool that is called Screen Leap. And it's pretty much allows us to do what we're doing here. It's a screen sharing tool. I happen to like this one quite a bit because it is allowing you to access it from anywhere pretty much. So I can share my screen and watch it on anything that supports Java. So basically I can watch it on an iPhone, on a tablet, anything I want. And it's pretty cool, very simple to use, you'll see. I'm just allowing my Java applet to run. Give me 2 seconds.
I feel a sneeze coming on. I might mute my mic for a second.
All right, allowing it. Yay. And it should be up and running in a second. So here's the way it works. I don't know if you guys are seeing the...
Yeah, it's a little hard to read.
Are you seeing the box around it or no?
Link?
It says
you want me to go to that
visible.
link?
No, you don't have to. I mean, you'll basically see what I'm showing now, but that's the idea.
Right.
You're not seeing a window that popped up on top. The window that's showing me that says your screen is shared, and I could say share inside my rectangle or share the entire screen.
Right.
And it has a button for pausing and stopping. So it's pretty simple.
Okay.
I can send viewers to that link, and then when I close the exit, it ends. But it really is nice because if you went to it from an iPad, if you went to it from your iPhone, you can basically be on the same page as all of your students. It's a great way to share a Flash video. It's a great, there's a lot of kids that are like, if they have a device that doesn't do Flash, this is an interesting way to share that stuff. And I love it a lot. It's free, it's fast, and you saw I was sharing within like 5-6 seconds. So that's Screen Leap. Simple demos, but it's very good.
Groovy.
Yeah.
I love that you can use it with iPads too. Anybody has to do is just go to that link, and there it is.
Yeah, and there's no install, there's no downloads, there's no registration. It's just stupid simple.
I love that.
What's that called again?
It's called ScreenLeap.com.
Screenleap.
Yeah, right on. Cool.
Very cool.
And if you go to ScreenLeap.com, that code that you didn't see the code. Oh, you did see the code that came up. That like 6 digits or 9 digits or whatever. There's a button entry right on that home screen that says enter your code. So you could enter it right from there. You don't have to find the link or anything.
Oh,
so they're just going to be viewing your screen, right? Obviously, right? Not.
Yeah, they can't. It's not like a WebEx where you can kind of share screen control.
Okay.
But I'm sure as a pay feature, I'm sure that'll come out soon.
Right. No, very cool. Very cool. All right. Who's next? Who's up? Me?
You?
Am I up? I don't know.
Next on the notes.
Nope. I am real quick. Well, I wasn't sure. Did anyone share the Titanic real-time thing yet, or
No.
was that no?
I'm following it, but I don't know if we talked about it.
I think you're right. I think I got it from a blog post at some point. And if you, I'm a huge fan of Titanic, and I have been actually since way before the movie came out.
Since it sank, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, my grandma was actually born 2 weeks before the Titanic sank. So when I grew up, she had some sort of like really bad old history book in her home that had like old news clippings. And so my brother and I would dig through her old books, and the idea that she was born right before it sank. And my brother's an artist, and he used to draw all these wild, depictions of the Titanic sinking back in like the late 70s and early 80s. He would draw these things, and so we became really big fans of the Titanic. And then when Robert Ballard found it, I mean, we were watching that National Geographic special, the minute it aired back in 1985. And so I've been just following this for so long. But there's this thing called Titanic Real Time, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here at the right moment. But I keep doing it on the wrong page, so I'm going to try that. All right, there we go. But if you go to Titanic Real Time, it's another one of these Twitter real-time Twitter feeds, and as though the Titanic is preparing for her maiden voyage. And I noticed I've been following the last few days, and they're pretty good about tweeting at least once or twice a day, maybe 3 times. You can see in the last tweet talks about the lamps are essential to allow us to signal other vessels at night. So there's a little bit of obviously they're teaching you a little bit about the ship, and since they haven't really done the launch yet, they're talking about the people around the ship and the people that are inspecting and stuff like that. So right now you're just learning a lot about the Titanic ship, and what's going to be interesting is as this gets up to the day where the Titanic launches, which I want to say is April 12th, if I remember my history, then you will be able to watch the sinking and everything, or follow the sinking of the Titanic on Twitter. And we did one of these things with our class. We did there's even a little app here I just found in conjunction with this. But we did something with the European explorers with our 5th graders, where they all got to choose one of the European explorers, and they tweeted as them, which I thought was really cool. And here's these guys are going, obviously, paying very close attention to what's going on, and you should all follow it because it's cool.
Yeah,
So,
who's doing
you
this?
guys also see James? Well, that's history. What was that thing that came up? History something.
There's
not the History Channel, though.
There's actually an app. They said experience Titanic's epic journey with day-by-day and minute-by-minute tweets. There's an app which I opened up earlier called Titanic. It's
you had something else open that showed what that green H refers to. It's not the History Channel.
It talks about her journey, and there's some photo slideshows, and it looks like a little kind of encyclopedia app.
It's interesting, Dan. It's like I wonder how kids or how they perceive it, because like when we were kids, the Titanic was such a mystery.
Yeah.
It's like it's gone, and it's deep, and we don't know anything. And now it's
and then Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, now it's Leonardo DiCaprio. It's like blue jewelry, and and things like that. And I guess it's Celine Dion. I wonder if does that movie kind of take away from the historical piece of it?
I think it's making a comeback, almost like a backlash to that movie, because National Geographic this month had a huge thing on Titanic and all these pictures down there now. Right. And then James Cameron just went down to the Mariana Trench in a submersible.
Right.
So like the deepest part of the ocean. That was just like yesterday, right?
Today.
Right.
Good publicity for his 3D reboot.
Yeah. But the idea being, I think there's a lot of interest now in the history and in the factual part and in the real pictures, as opposed to the Celine Dion songified version.
I don't know. I think there's still a mystery to it. I mean, we found it. That's great. But, I mean, it's still 5 miles below the ocean. It's extremely hard to get to. And, there's still this vision I still have, and I don't know if that's still possible, but I think it is with the movie, and I'll decide when I show it to my kid in a few years. But, this whole idea that you're in the middle of the ocean and, the whole ship sinks and all these people die. It's the middle of the night and it's freezing. That's still a very iconic image. I think he's done. If he's done anything, he's done it to continue that image and to promote that. But now that we can just jump down there anytime we want to, maybe.
It's not going to be an amusement park anytime soon. I just think that I wonder if I think it's a great testimony to this invincibility that the Industrial Revolution or whatever you want to that kind of thing. This sort of like preposterous idea. This idea that everything I make is indestructible, and what a farce it was. I think growing up in our world that was the case, but do kids even care? I wonder. That'd be a good question to ask tomorrow. I mean, I think I might show this, Dan, and just kind of ask my students, like, what do you think about this? I don't teach history,
my son is fascinated with it. My son is really fascinated with it. Yeah, there was one of the. I want to actually say Magic Treehouse books, but I could be wrong.
There is.
Yeah. So I think he's read that one, and then he got there was a 3-part series, I think, written by Gordon Corman about the Titanic. And he got all those at the book fair last year, and it's actually 4th or 5th grade level books, and he's only in 2nd, but he wanted to read them, so he got them so that he could have them when he could handle them. You guys stop singing in the chat. I hate it. And he's really interested in it. So when the National Geographic came in, he was actually like forcing me to look at all the pictures, and he was telling me what they were, because it was like they have all these photographs from back then that go with the pictures of what it looks like now underwater. So it's all these like sepia pics, and then you should see if it's on the National Geographic website, because it's in the magazine that came through the door, and it's nice looking. It's really cool.
You have a magazine that comes to your door?
I do. All my life I've wanted to be that person who gets National Geographic delivered, and I am now that person.
All right. We need a melody sheet for Titanic. That's what we need. It will help create even more mystery around the Titanic.
If Celine Dion gets on the show, I swear I'm going ballistic.
All right. By the way, the cover of National Geographic is James Cameron and his little deep sea voyage thing.
Yeah.
Very PR event.
I think whatever. It's a big deal.
No, dude,
this needs to be a Celine Dion free zone, please.
No, I'm not talking about Celine Dion. I mean,
no, I know. I'm just
James Cameron's going down to the bottom hasn't been done since 1960.
That's right.
That's pretty cool.
To the bottom of the ocean.
He did it alone. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
He went by himself?
Yes.
Come on.
Well, that little capsule only fits one person, so. Hey man, I'd be right in line if someone said, "Hey, Mr. Rezak, we want to send you to the Mariana Trench." I'd be like, "Okay."
Okay. Question of the day. Would you rather go into the Mariana Trench? Is it Marianas? I always thought it was Marianas.
I thought it was Marianas, but yeah.
But would you rather go into that trench or into space?
Space.
No.
You know the creatures that are down there.
I would like to just stay on the land.
I couldn't go to either.
No.
Because I would freak.
Space. Is this the? Maybe this should be our roundtable discussion.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to go that far down into the ocean, but I would like to. I'd prefer to go underwater probably, but I would freak out. So I can't.
Let me tell you, if you're going to
get on an airplane, I don't know if you're on a boat.
If you're going for freak out moments, you're going to be accompanied by freaky monsters down there. There's like lots of weird things.
Yeah, but once you get past, a little, once you get past like 1,000, 2,000 feet, there's nothing there anymore.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Like a little plankton.
That's not true at all.
That's comforting.
You're not going to see like very big animals down.
Nuclear waste.
That's right.
That's down there.
That's true.
They shot The Simpsons.
Funkin' shit.
Right. All right. Maybe space.
Somebody's head in the bottle. Yeah. No. I would go into space. And I have to say, part of that it was programmed into me.
Oh my gosh.
Right. You know what I'm thinking of.
Ooh, shiny.
Right. But the Crystal McAuliffe thing.
Right. What are you saying? What are you saying about that?
No, I'm saying, how many of you didn't want to become a teacher because you were hoping that they would ask you to be on the space shuttle, the next space shuttle? I mean, come on.
I had that never crossed my mind. Is that your question? Is that your question?
I was disappointed at space camp we didn't actually go to space. I thought my mom should have gotten her money back.
Did you go to space camp?
I did.
You watched that movie and you thought...
Adam, did you get to keep the jumper?
I did.
Mark Wagner went twice.
Nice.
I do have the jumper.
Mark Wagner went twice?
He went twice, and he was voted some kind of most likely to be successful something.
In space.
Camp.
I had one of my buddies who always went there like every summer, and they would let him do a little show and tell while all of us got to watch and
I was voted
not go
most
anywhere.
likely to take up space.
Nice,
Right.
nice.
But, you know, I mean, just think, how many of you, you know, I have a lot of I was in, you know, a Teach for America program, and I'm telling you, in the last 5 years, almost every one of them have been to Houston, have been in the Vomit Comet, have gone to Woods Hole, have turned teaching into a complete adventure, you know, where, and I think that's, you know, I don't know, there's something that's really exciting about that, I don't know. I'm very much into the Wilderness Classroom, which is this organization that goes all around the world and you know, blogs and podcasts from where they are. And you know, I love that whole idea of being a teacher and you know, send me to space. I'll teach from the moon. You know, I'll teach from the Mariana Trench. I want that.
Yeah, that's so fascinating because like I always felt like right when I became a teacher that I was locked into a classroom. You know, and that's interesting that you're saying that your perspective is so much different, yeah.
Well, I mean, one thing that I can comment on here is that when I'm going to be in London next week, I'm still going to be the teacher in my classroom. I'm preparing all of my lessons. They're all going to be done with video. They're still going to be turning in their work to me. There's not going to be a sub in my classroom. In fact, there will be an administrator sitting in the back watching the kids do my lessons, but I'll still be the teacher, just not teaching in present or whatever.
Oh, that's interesting, James. So you're going to the kids going to be listening in onto the sessions and such?
No, I'm going to record. I'm going to record all the direct instruction and then.
No, they didn't get accepted to the Google Teacher Academy.
So it's just going to be like a regular day, but yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
That's very cool.
But Jim, you're also you're on your own adventure. You're you know, bouncing around. You're teaching, you know.
You know, and I think that that's happening now. But never in my wildest dreams that I think that as a teacher, this is how I would see the world. Right. You know,
Yeah.
my vision of being a teacher was so limited. You know, until I got into the classroom, and then I realized that it really is beyond that. And even probably only in the last few years since I started incorporating some of these tools that I'm using now, did I realize that the potential that it has to kind of run around and meeting people like Wendy Gordon, who like. Where does she teaches from around the world every day, you know? So I mean, it's pretty inspiring to kind of see people like that. But I never thought about that. I thought I was going to be thrown into a room, door locked, caged, with all.
Isn't that awesome? I mean, James, you're about to go to Indianapolis for YouTube. Maybe I should. Should I not say that?
You're fine. You can say
that.
Good.
Good.
Oh, wow! Don't go NDA on us.
It's not going to be like a big surprise.
There is a conference happening in Indianapolis. I will be there presenting on YouTube EDU. Please come to the session. It should be a lot of fun.
I tend to slip sometimes.
Hey, can you hang out me into that?
What?
Sure.
Since I can't be there.
Yeah, for sure.
Adam, you're bouncing around. You're having an adventure.
I sure am, and I don't like flying, so that's a...
Did you ever think education could be an adventure like this?
I have to tell you, after I saw my first tech conference keynote, when I saw it was a double keynote, which was weird. I've never seen that since, but it was Will Richardson and David Warlick. And I remember I watched David Warlick in particular and was like, wow, that would be awesome to get to do that. And it's just pretty cool, you know. So I didn't think it at first, but certainly later.
Yeah, and has that changed over the years? I mean, you know, maybe because of the nature of what we do, that's changed.
I wouldn't have got this idea from the people that were my teachers. You know, they weren't excited. Don't call me.
Yeah.
I think we're proving what's possible. I mean, we're obviously a very small cross section of teachers. I mean, this isn't like most teachers are like, oh yeah, I'm teaching and then I'm presenting in Indianapolis and then we're presenting in London and learning something there. That's not normal, but it's possible.
But it's awesome.
It could be normal. That's what I hope it's normal someday.
Right.
And that is, and if it's not physically, then it's virtually, but that people are communicating and I think that students should be able to, next week we want to learn about space, so we're going to talk to the astronauts.
Go.
What?
So we're going to go to space.
Right. But at least we're going to talk to the astronauts on the Mir space station. We're going to we're going to talk to the people at Woods Hole. We're going to have the classroom is finally getting into that it is an adventure. Or at least it should be. That's what I hope it is.
But what's so interesting is that now that we're bringing it up, I mean, I talk to people like, I'll say, hey, I'm doing this, and then they look at me like I'm doing something illegal.
Mm.
You ever get that look? You ever get that look like, hey, by the way, you are, what are you doing? And and I try to tell people that 90% of the time that I'm doing it during a break, during weekends or, but every once in a while, I mean, I have a few days that I could take off, and then now, I'm starting to pay for my days off. But it's having to go into that whole explanation about being a teacher,
right,
and then being able to kind of have an opportunity to share what I'm doing in my classroom around the country or around the world for that matter. People look at you like, hey, shame on you. Would you ask any single business person, if any single business person says, yeah, I'm going over here to present, they're like, oh, bravo.
Right.
But as a teacher, what?
They don't even make a big deal. No, bravo. They don't make a big deal.
Yeah, it's not a big deal at all. Yeah, it's like you're a successful
share.
businessman. Yeah, but you say, hey, I'm a teacher and I'm going to go share what we're doing around the world. It's mind-boggling to people. And I try to tell that to my students, like, hey, by the way, what we're doing here is something that people are interested around the world, and and they look at me kind of strange, like, I can't even comprehend something like that. So maybe is that the discussion of the day, that is a teacher's place in the classroom?
I love that. I just wrote a little, I don't know, like a little philosophy of teaching, and one of the question was, what's an expert teacher? And I was thinking a lot about sharing. An expert teacher, or I don't want to say the word expert, but an outstanding teacher is somebody who doesn't live in the bubble. And the bubble is safe, and the bubble is you can if you think about a lot of school districts and classrooms like that, well, before 6 years ago, that everybody was in the bubble. Now I feel like it's our duty to take what we're learning and get out of the bubble and share and present and submit articles for publication and be part of the field of education, not just a teacher in a classroom.
Yeah, that's funny. We do a conference. We do a conference every here in the Central Valley, California. We do a conference, part of CUE, called the Central Valley CUE, and we have two conferences. And a few years ago, a friend of mine, Scott Smith, he was very involved in CUE, and he gave me an opportunity to speak, and I remembered very well that even the topic I spoke on, and that started me. And I think what's one of the things we're trying to bring back into this conference is, if you're a classroom teacher, now is the time to step up and share what you're doing around. And you never know what that leads to. And I think that but it's just so interesting to see how many people aren't into that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Should we feel
people are scared about it? What?
Should a teacher feel apologetic for wanting to do another conference? That is maybe outside of the one that they're allowed every year. Should they feel bad?
I think it comes back to my definition of a teacher in the 21st century.
Diane wants to harp.
And I'll share this very
Sure,
insightful
James.
thought after Diane has shared.
Oh, no, why don't you say? Because I already typed it all out in the chat, and then so
love
that I don't forget what I
read
want to
from a script anyway.
Go, James.
Oh, I was just going to say, it brings it back to like what I think an educator is in the 21st century, and that is one that designs educational experiences for their students. So when I'm in the classroom, I'm actually playing the role of a teacher's assistant to myself. I'm not turning my instructional leadership over to Sal Khan or anybody like that. I'm preparing the lessons. I might even be creating the videos. I'm giving all the feedback. But when it comes time to the actual class time, my students are working and I'm supporting them in their work. The only thing that my lesson is missing when I'm in London is that support. So somebody else is going to be providing that support. I'm not there to provide it for me. So why do we need walls in our classroom? I don't think we do. I think we need to have spaces where we can come together, whether it be virtually or, more importantly, in person, to talk about what we're doing and do these hands-on activities. But the role of the educator isn't to stand up there and deliver the knowledge anymore. That's going by the wayside. In fact, I think we're really becoming really efficient at how we can deliver content and deliver skills if the schools are willing to tap into those resources that are available. The more important skill is the designing of rigorous, critical thinking, collaborative experiences that students can use to prepare themselves to go out and change the world that we're living in and do what they want to do.
Well put.
Diane, did you want to follow that up?
So, you asked, are you ever apologetic? And my response is, how can I be a better educator if I'm not always learning? And in some ways, where I'm at, I can't go any farther with my content area. But my content area is technology integration. So I need to be out hearing from other people. And then if I consider myself an expert, the only true expert is one that knows that they don't know everything. So I know that I need to be around other people who are going to give me ideas, who are going to share what they're doing with their students, and then I'm going to get inspired to do even better things or use some of their ideas. And then, Sil, don't forget, you and I are presenting together at that CVQ thing. We should probably talk. But as far as being apologetic about needing an extra day off, this was interesting. My school where I work actually wrote a policy based on my presenting a lot, and they added, we have one professional day, and then you have a number of personal days based on how long you've been there. They also added in a presenting day. So if you were presenting at a conference, that was in addition to the professional day that you could use to attend a conference. Now, I've already blown through all those, and I'm paying for all the days that I miss now, because I can't use sick leave for that, but I can. I've used up all my personal days, my professional and presenting day. But I think that they couldn't financially do more than that, but that was a step in the right direction to say, you're doing this, you represent our school, but really you're just representing yourself, and then you're going out there and you're getting better at what you do by going and learning with other people. When I present, I don't think of it as me sharing what I know. I think of it as getting together with people, and we can all share ideas for how to make learning better and more effective. So,
here's a question for you guys. Have any of you video chatted or YouTubed your students from the field, like when you knew you were away from class? Were you able to chime in on what they were doing? Yeah? Anyone?
Yeah, one time I was homesick with my son, but I wasn't really sick, so I Skyped in, but we didn't have video set up, but we basically set up a computer up near the front, and the kids would walk up to it and ask me questions. And I was sitting on my couch in my living room, and at first they were like, Mrs. Main? And then they were like asking questions, and then they would come over and be like, what are you watching on TV? Nice. But they had questions about their project, and they needed me to be able to chime in. So I've done Skype chat. I think I've done a video chat, and then I also just do a lot of I'll be online, and they can email me, and I'll email them right back.
Right.
If I'm able to do that, or even I've been in. They're looking at the spreadsheet that I've shared with all of them. That's their status of the project, and if I'm in it, and they see me and I'm at a distance, they'll ask me questions in the chat of the Google spreadsheet. But that's just when I'm away.
I know, Jim, you FaceTimed, didn't you, at some point?
Yeah, we talked about that when I came back from Alaska, that it was the start of the Iditarod the week before, and so there were dog races happening up and down Anchorage, or at least all over the place there. And I went into a business, and I told them what I wanted to do, and they let me have their wireless. And so I jumped on with my phone, and I was interviewing people on the street and showing them a dog race that I had never even seen before in person, and they had never seen, like that as well. So it was, many of the questions were like, hey, how come they don't this type of dog? Why is it like this? And we were asking questions up and down. And I was able to pop in with FaceTime. I set it all up before I went, and I was able to pop in on FaceTime and have a kid show me a video that they were about to air on our show. And I just wanted to get some approval. I would give it some approval, or maybe make some comments to it. In addition, I was able to kind of walk around the business or walk around the conference, talking to my students, sharing what they're doing, and then when I present on Google Docs, undoubtedly if I'm ever gone during the day, undoubtedly some kid's on a dock, and you can see it, and we can get on and chat. So I mean, my whole mind, the whole idea of a classroom has changed, I think.
Yeah, I've just to wrap up my own point, but to kind of go off that, when I was sick, I would often stay home, and I would I'd create YouTube tutorials for most of the day, so my kids would be watching. They'd know what to do, whether there's some instructions. And I still, to this day, I have subs that used to go into my class, and they'll see me, and they're like, "Oh man, I miss having, I loved when I was able to sub for you." Because I would just sit there and I'd give kids a link, and then I'd just, I'd take attendance. It was like the best.
Doing our part to create lazy subs. Nice.
There you go. There you go.
But I mean, I'd also be.
I want a sub for me.
Right.
Easiest job ever.
I'd be at home, and I'd still be honestly sending the sub like emails, throughout the day, like, oh, if they're having problems, let me know, and so it's interesting. Like, where's the line of I'm really at work or I'm not at work, because it's starting to blend.
Well, that's that Diane is talking about having to pay for days off. I did the same the other day when I went to Q, which is so crazy, the technology conference. It is the famous, not famous, but my story is that when I was Q Teacher of the Year in 2009, I had to call in sick.
That's awesome.
No, it's ridiculous, right? But and so they don't cover that kind of thing. They don't cover that stuff. And I got a phone call from work, and I was just like, "Here, I'm paying $300 to be off."
Right.
I'm like, "You can't really call me. You can't call me because then I have to kind of,
I'm going back and forth right now on how we're going to classify these 4 days in London. I wrote the email, and I'm like, are you guys going to count these as personal time off for me to go to this teacher professional development conference in London where I'm going to be bringing back tools and resources for the rest of the staff? Let me know.
Right.
It's true. It's true. It's a tough call. It's a really tough call.
Well,
I once got turned down. I got asked to do the wilderness classroom. They invited me on their trip, and I was supposed to start in Alaska and canoe with them for an entire week, and I was going to blog and podcast and do all this stuff, and my administration told me I couldn't go. I was very upset with that because I thought it would have been a great opportunity just to share and collect data. We were like collecting science samples and stuff like that, but no. I was better. Apparently, they used the line like my services were better inside the classroom, I guess.
It really has to be a tough call. I'd love to hear from what an administrator. I mean, I guess I hear from my administrator, but I'd love to hear what administrators hear, like how they feel about that. Because I don't know. People always say, well, isn't it doing them really a lot of good for you to go out and publicize their school and that you're there and all that? And I don't think that makes a bit of difference to anybody, truthfully.
Right.
I don't think people care that.
Well, in the case of my school, it's a private school, and we need enrollment to stay afloat. Right. And it doesn't hurt that they have someone on staff who, I don't know, would you say I'm an expert in my field? Like that if we're talking about tech integration, I'm very immersed in that field, and I spend a lot of my own time learning more about it. And they've used that in some of their publicity materials for the school.
Oh, that's cool.
But
it depends on your school.
I don't know if it's going to get them anything, but then the other thing, my school has wanted to support me more, but there's just not money to do it, and they can't make all kinds of exceptions for me because I'm just awesome. They have to have a policy that they stick with.
They need an "I'm awesome" policy.
They need a special category for me.
I think that's it. I just think the perception is that that the teachers maybe shouldn't be out doing that kind of stuff. And my district, and I should be fair, my district has always been very supportive, and many times they celebrate what's happening, but at the same time, it is a little bit. It's difficult to kind of balance, like what is my perceived job and what am I redefining it to be? What's that?
Don't you think they can't quantify and account what we do,
right.
And therefore they can't make an equivalent to hours of work or anything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, do any of us really 9 to 5 it with work and never spend extra time?
That'd be nice.
No,
right.
Not at all.
That would be nice.
We're getting
I
the
leave
big
at
old
3
hook
o'clock.
from the
I
side
leave
of
it
the stage, boys.
at 3:06. I leave. It's
From Jim's classroom, he says,
Yeah.
I leave at 3 o'clock.
And then he comes back
at 7:49 p.m. Pacific time.
I leave at 3:06. I come back at 3:15.
And by that he means mentally, because he actually has a cot in the classroom.
Right. Yeah. All right, guys. But hey, that was a great discussion. Thanks, Jim. You kind of brought that up, and it was nice to go with that. It would have been a really strange segue to go with the original roundtable I had.
Yes, it would have.
It's nice to go and go with the flow. But yeah, teaching is an adventure, and I think every teacher, people that want to be teachers, hopefully we're setting an example, and that they are going to go to the moon. And before I die, I will be in space. I swear.
Really?
I
I'm going.
swear I'll have to wash your mouth out with soap.
Dan, I'm going to hold you to that. I mean, I might die.
What, me washing his mouth out with soap? You guys hold him down. I'm doing it.
That's right.
That's
right.
That you really feel like that? You really feel like you're going to be in space before the end of all this?
Yeah, I mean, I can't predict.
Stick to it.
Don't say the end of all this or the end of August,
future,
'cause that's the difference.
but there are private entities going up there right now. So
yeah. Who's
Trying
that?
to hijack a vessel.
Who's that guy that just got said? They just said that you can go up there.
Richard Branson?
Branson?
Yeah, he
No,
finally.
it's somebody else. I thought it was like somebody from Motley Crue, but I guess I'm wrong.
Well, he's got a whole bunch of celebrities that
Tommy Lee?
gave him.
Richard Branson, Tommy Lee.
I don't think he could get the medical clearance.
Madonna.
He couldn't get past the
Point
physics.
those cones at space, girl, and take off.
Nice.
Yeah, that'd be cool, man. That'd be cool. I think before long we'll be flying. I think we'll be, there'll be some sort of, space.
Tell me now.
This show is already flying.
We're already. So yeah, if you
Bella's
work
like
for
Bella.
NASA, I'm a teacher. I want to go to space. If you work in Woods Hole, send me to the Marianas Trench or wherever underwater you'd like to go. I will blog about it. I will podcast it. I'll put it on EdReach show, and I'll go everywhere.
Start getting sponsorship dollars sent now for your space trip.
There we
Dan.
go.
Dan, I cannot believe you're using the show to.
Gotta start rocketing into space.
This is beyond what I thought.
No.
No, what we're gonna do is like 10 minutes before he dies, we're gonna freeze him. We're gonna shoot him up to space.
There you go.
We're gonna wait, and then when they get the technology to bring him back, he's gonna be.
Wait.
Did you say
Before he dies,
Space junk. Space
freeze
junk.
him.
I
feel
want
like
to be a vessel.
No, like he's like on his deathbed, right?
Right.
And you freeze him. Right?
Okay.
you can find me on Twitter at
Right.
James
That's not going to
Sanders.
James C. Sanders. Yep. Right
Our
there.
viewership is down to 0.
The theme is teaching is an adventure. All right, guys. Keynote Theater has arrived. Next Wednesday, join the Ed Gamer guys, Zach Gilbert, Jerry James, and myself as we dissect Dr. Tao's TEDx talk, Can Skateboarding Save Our Schools? That's next Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. But that's going to do it for us this week on EduNationCast. A big thanks to the gang and the crew. Of course, we can find you all online and the usual places. And Diane, where do we find you?
At Dobigin, DOWBIGGIN, like it says in the little lower third.
And Adam.
Nice.
At Adam Bello or at Edudecker.
And soon to be in his bed. And Mr. Sanders.
You could find me on Twitter at James T. Sanders.
And last guy.
I'm Mr. Sill, M-I-S-T-E-R.
If I say it, I always give it away. And, of course, you can follow EdReach us on Twitter and like our Facebook page, facebook.com/EdReach. Always great ways to get the latest blog post, podcast, and news coming out of EdReach. And, of course, you can find us on the Google+. Just do a search for EdReach. But thanks again for joining us. Continue the conversation at edreach.us, and we will see you next week.
You're watching the EdReach Network.